Here we go. Prosecutors cited Tampa resident Tony Patterson's son's sentence. Tony Patterson's sentence in a separate criminal case for the dismissal. Ooh, do tell, Tampa Bay Times. What do we have here? So, statewide prosecutors dropped charges against one of the 20 people accused by Governor Ron DeSantis of voting illegally in 2020. In the court filing on Monday, prosecutors wrote that they were dropping charges against Tampa resident Tony Patterson, aged 44, because of, quote, information received from the Hillsborough County election supervisor and because he was already being sentenced to prison in a separate case. Damn, Tony, what happened? The decision means state officials avoid potentially having a second voter fraud case thrown out by a judge in as many months. Look at him. The judge is getting them bogus cases the fuck up out of here. Patterson was one of 20 people accused by Ron DeSantis in a high profile news conference back in August of voting illegally. As someone convicted of a felony sexual offense, Patterson was not allowed to vote under state laws, but state elections officials who report to DeSantis cleared him to receive a voter ID card and didn't stop him from voting in the 2020 election. Good for him. I'm glad that he voted. Whatever we think about voting, I'm glad to see that formerly incarcerated people have had their voting rights restored, but I hate to see them go through this bullshit. But Monday's court filing did not say what information prosecutors received from local election supervisors. In a separate criminal case in September, Patterson was sentenced to a year and a day in prison after pleading no contest in a charge of failing to notify the local sheriff in March that he was driving a new vehicle. Excuse me? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, what? He has to go to jail for a year? Hold on. Did I read that wrong? In a separate criminal case in September, Patterson was sentenced to a year and a day in prison after pleading no contest to a charge of failing to notify the local sheriff in March that he was driving a new vehicle. Under state law, registered sex offenders must report any changes in vehicle ownership within 48 hours. He has to go to jail for a year for that? Hey guys, you know I do not have a soft spot for no fucking sexual offenders, but that sounds egregious and ridiculous, cruel and unusual. The Tampa Bay Times continues, Patterson was facing a much stiffer sentence if convicted of both registering and voting illegally, up to 5 years in prison on each charge. Burn DeSantis in the fucking pits of hell. But his public defender challenged the ability of statewide prosecutors to charge Patterson at all after a Miami judge dismissed a case against one of the other people accused by DeSantis of voting illegally. Under state law, statewide prosecutors are restricted to charging crimes, including voting, that cross multiple jurisdictions, that cross multiple judicial circuits. Those crimes are usually complex, often large-scale or organized criminal activity. Unlike what the fuck DeSantis is doing, large-scale organized criminal activity. I'm sorry. My apologies, everybody, because I thought this was good news that another of the 20 people targeted by Ron DeSantis and his fascist voter integrity unit. I thought that was good news that the person had the charges dismissed. And I guess that was, that was not. He got to go to jail for a year and a day because he bought a new car and failed to notify the sheriff within 48 hours. A year and a day? I am truly sickened by that. Damn. I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't fuck this up. I thought this was good news. I thought this was good news. This is actually very infuriating news. He got some bullshit charges dropped against him, but then had to plead no contest to another bullshit charge. And I'm calling that bullshit. And again, y'all know how I feel about fucking motherfuckers accused of doing sexual higgy hagga. I'm not sympathetic. I'm usually not. But I don't think that what this person was accused of doing is egregious or unreasonable. Why 48 hours? How come they couldn't give him a week to notify the sheriff that he bought a new car? What if it was a holiday weekend? There's all sorts of reasons I can think of why this person, Tony Patterson, was not able to alert the sheriff in a time in the time designated that he got a new vehicle in his possession. And now this person has to go to jail for a year. This is what the American prison system is all about. Making sure that people land in jail and then making sure that they continue to land in jail by placing all kinds of insurmountable hurdles and challenges, all kinds of pitfalls, just waiting for making people fuck up, not even waiting for them to fuck up, making them fuck up, forcing them into violating all of these ridiculously strict restrictions and rules.